Can you hear
Okay.
any noise in the background?
Yeah, there was a little noise, but go ahead. Go ahead. We're on. We're live.
All right. Hello and good day to everybody. I'm sure all of you had a very, very Merry Christmas. And those of you who are still celebrating, we wish you all the best. And of course, all of us are looking forward to 2020, which is the new year upcoming. For those of you who are out and about and somewhere else in the world, wherever you are, we still say hello to you and we wish you all the best upcoming year. God bless each and every one of us. And we pray that 2020 will bring us more tidings, good tidings to each and every one of us. Yeah. Unfortunately, our host, our anchor, Dr. Nia Song, has some bereavement in the family. And today he will not be joining the program. However, we chose to continue with the program because the notice we were given on the bereavement has been very short. However, Dr. Nia Song, our sincere condolences from all your listeners, as well as myself and Reverend Pam. We wish you all the best. And of course, you know that we're here for you. Should you need us, you need a listening ear, you need a shoulder to cry on, you know that we're here for you. And to everybody out there, guess what? What is our topic for today, Reverend Pam? I don't want to say.
Sexual dysfunction, but I think that is Dr. Tazon. Dr. Tazon, is that you with the 301 number?
That's me, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for dialing in. We have Dr. Tazon on the line. So, Sister Sylvia, you and Dr. Tazon have the airway. She will handle it from the medical aspect, and you will handle it from the non-medical aspect. Take it away. Sexual dysfunction is our topic today.
Hey, doctor, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. Merry Christmas in arrears and Happy New Year. I hope that everybody's getting ready for the new year and the new prospects.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely. Yeah, but let me just share a little bit of information that I gathered from a learned ED, kind of, how can I say, not really a specialist, but he's on the herbal side. So he gave me a few insights, which I want to share with you. And then, of course, I'll go on our traditional side. So according to medical experts, I guess from our white man's view, I don't know which other way to say it, but our Western view, it says hardening of the arteries and heart disease and high blood pressure, high cholesterol levels, neurological disorders, diabetes, since its complication is nerve damage, Certain medications also have an effect on a man's performance or the erectile dysfunction. You are at a greater risk.
Can I just interrupt real quick?
I'm sorry?
Can I just interrupt real quick, ma'am?
Sure.
Okay, I think that a good place to start would be to define exactly what erectile dysfunction is, because sometimes people don't quite understand what it is.
Go ahead,
Dr. Tazon. I was going to leave that for you. Go ahead.
Okay, so, I mean, that way we're talking about it, because right now people are hearing it, but they're not sure. I mean, some people do, but some people don't understand the extent. So erectile dysfunction is the inability to have an erection or to keep an erection throughout sexual activity. So somebody may say, well, I can get one. That's good. But are you able to maintain it throughout sexual activity? That's another thing. So that expands the spectrum of what it is. And so at least people that are struggling with it, they'll kind of understand where they fall on that spectrum. And then I'm going to let you continue. I'll get on when you're done.
All right. So thank you so much, doctor. You're right. The definition of ED was an important factor, but I was going to let you do that right after I finished my little dissertation. So, because I know you're the expert here. And I just want you're laughing. Yes, you are. But anyway, what we were saying is they also talk about if you use tobacco or you smoke quite a bit, they also say that that also is a bad thing for men, and it also contributes to the ED, as well as being overweight. If you're fat like me, again, if you're a man, you're not going to be able to perform very well, as well as I think alcoholic drinks.
Alcoholism, yes, alcohol.
It's the beer or if it's the spirits, but they just said alcoholic drinks, you know, they do have a lot of effect on a man's performance. Now, according to the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, about 12% of our men younger than 60 years experience ED. Now, that's alarming. That number increases to 22% of men aged 60 to 69. Wow. And 30% of men aged 70 years and older. So when does a man stop functioning properly as a man? These statistics are very, very alarming. Doctor, Why don't you take it from there?
So I'm gonna give you a little bit of perspective here. I know when we were talking about it earlier, we talked about I mentioned Bin Laden, right? Because people were asking, so these men that get married, the older men that get married to young women, how do they do it? A lot of those older men, by virtue of their age and just natural wear and tear, by virtue of the fact that over time you do develop issues that could increase your risk for erectile dysfunction, a lot of them tend to have issues with performance. And so what they do is they use things that help them along the way. For example, when they found Bin Laden and they went and when they killed him, I don't know if you guys remember, but he had this young wife. His youngest wife was there, and she was trying to jump in front of the bullets for him.
Yes, I remember.
The leg. But how was he able to take care of that woman? He needed some Viagra, and they found it amongst his things. When I read a lot, so I know what they found. They found Viagra, they found Doritos. They were like, man, you hate Americans, but you love our Doritos. So those are things that they found. And that goes to tell you that people don't tell you what is going on, but they sit back and they try to fix it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And so we really have to be careful because, as you rightfully said, the biggest thing that you have to think about erectile dysfunction is mind, blood flow, and nerve function. And then sometimes there's damage to the tissue. So if you think about anything that can affect any of those particular things, it could potentially cause erectile dysfunction.
That is true. Yeah.
There are a lot of people that are going through it. I think that the statistics, I'm gonna go put my head out there and say I think the statistics even underestimate it, because even amongst my own patients, I have male patients who will come in for a while, and until they start feeling comfortable, they will not tell you. And then finally they're like, well, I don't know if I should say this. I say, you know what, sir, I'm a professional. This is what I do on a regular basis. There's nothing here that you're going to tell me that is going to surprise me. Trust me, we've seen all kinds of crazy stuff. So go ahead and make sure you get taken care of. How can I help you? And don't you worry, your information is going to be private. We're going to try to help you. So finally, they're going to come out and say, well, I have difficulty with so and so. And I'll tell them, well, that's not a big deal. You're not the first man, let me reassure you, and you're not going to be the last. And then I try to collect information. I try to identify the risk factors and then see if I can help them. And some of the patients, you know, we may start off the quick fix is Viagra, but really I like them to get a good workup so that we can figure out what the problem is. Because sometimes the Viagra may be enhancing the blood flow, but there are other things going on. You want to make sure that there's nothing hiding in the background. For example, you want to make sure that this is somebody who is not at risk of having heart disease, because that, you know, it winds up showing up with erectile dysfunction. Same thing with diabetes, with cholesterol issues. I mean, a lot of the things I mentioned. Tobacco use is one of them. Some medications, for example, beta blockers like metoprolol and all those things, they slow you down. Other things like pain medications, antidepressants, all of them have effects on your performance. Using drugs and alcohol. Obesity, I think, may be two-pronged. One of the things about obesity is that just structurally it gets in the way. When you have abdominal fat, it gets in the way. But also, think about it, you know, but the other thing too is that as especially men get more obese, they start going into what we call hypogonadism, where they start secreting less testosterone and sometimes a little bit more feminine hormones. And so if you see when men start getting bigger, they start having breasts too. It's not just the fat, it's also the change, the shift in hormones. So obesity is definitely something to think about. High blood pressure, because it causes cardiovascular, it's a cardiovascular disease, and that means blood flow. Stress will do it. Anxiety, depression, fatigue, and the way I think about ED, it's like a vicious cycle. When a man starts experiencing it, he starts getting really frightened, because this is what, for most men, this is what defines them. We women, they take away our body parts, we don't care. But for a man, it's like, you know what, I would rather die with this part on than to live without it.
That's true.
So when they start having it, they get really nervous, they get scared for many reasons. Some of them feel emasculated, some of them, you know, some of their wives will tease them, and then God forbid that it gets out in public, and people now start thinking, look at you, what can you do anyway? So most men get anxious, and the anxiety only feeds into the whole system of ED. And then, of course, people who have had any kind of surgery to the prostate or the bladder, because that could now cause structural and nerve and even maybe blood flow, but especially structural and nerve damage. You may have spinal cord or brain injuries that will be more likely to affect nerve function. And then again, a lot of neurologic diseases, because they affect nerve function, things like a stroke, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, all of those things. So when you see those patients, you have to think in the back of your mind, is this also going on?
Okay.
Yeah. You did say, hold on, Reverend. You did say that structurally, when the men start getting fat, just like us women, and the bellies and start to protrude, and the backsides also start to go south. The boobs also start to go in front. For real, this is something that I have heard a lot from some of my people that I deal with, that I mentor. But there's also many ways to kill a cat. It doesn't mean just because they become sexually dysfunctional, then they're done for. There are ways that women, us as women, or partners, whatever partner they choose to have in their lives, and I'm hoping it's a woman, there are ways that women can also help to facilitate, to arouse these men and to help them. As well as there are certain positions that also, there's more than 150 different styles of making love. There's more than 150 styles of making love. Now, a lot of them are used to a certain way, and they're so afraid of sharing with their partner that if I suggest a new, a new style, they're gonna assume I've been sleeping around. And that's the first thing that our men say, especially our African men. What they don't realize is their books. We read books and we share notes with our sisters or brothers or whoever it is, depending on the that you understand? So when there's a new style that comes in and the brothers thing has shrunk a little bit because of the big belly, the pot belly. And remember, even when we have big bellies, you can't meet in front, you understand? When you meet in front, it's too short. It doesn't even stretch long enough to enter paradise. See what I'm saying? So...
Oh, by the way, this is an X-rated conversation, so I hope there are no children on the line.
No, well, it's real. There are people that need to hear this.
But no children. Children shouldn't even be in this business.
No, they shouldn't. I don't think there's any. If there are any parents letting their children listen, please explain to them in a way that they'll understand what we're talking about. It's not for them. You need to get your children off this line, because this one here, I say, I come raw as it is. I don't beat about the bush. They've asked me to be on this program for a reason, because I am bold and I'm raw and I don't mince my words. It is what it is.
Say it the way it is. Our people need to hear it.
Exactly. So as I was saying, when Mama's belly is looking like she's 6 months pregnant, Papa's belly is like he's 9 months pregnant. There's a style where, you want to look at in each other's eyes, into each other's eyes while the do is going on, right? So you're supposed to scoot in as close together as you can. But when Dick can't meet Susie, the right way, it becomes a problem. So there's what we call improvisation for them. And a woman's touch always activates a man's... There are ways that you massage. There are ways that you talk to the man. The doctor rightfully said, it's also mental health. Correct, doctor? I heard that correctly, right? The man has to be of good mental health, good mental capacity, good mental capability to be able to sustain that erection even when he is caressed by the woman. If the man is not of good mental stability or mental indication to want to be in that position, no matter how many times this woman does what she does, her pumping or whatever she's doing, it's not going to work. So in other words, the man has to be on the go. He has to be ready. He has to be forever ready, like an Energizer bunny. When Madame comes and tries now to start activating that penis, he should also be ready to receive. Because if he's not, then like you said, depression starts to set in. I'm no longer a man. And once that depression starts to set in for a man stating to himself that he's no longer a man, the marriage starts to crumble. Unfortunately, or is it maybe fortunately, in this country, we have dildos. Women go and satisfy themselves and we forget about our husbands or our boyfriends. But what about the man that can't erect? What about the man that can't perform? What about the man that cannot enjoy? I heard that ginger and honey are an excellent combination, especially the raw honey. You get the ginger root itself, crush it or blend it, make some ginger tea for yourself and add as much honey as your body can take. I hear sometimes in the morning, brother starts to rise because, he feels that extra little bit of energy. Ginseng too is in the same category. Actually, they say ginseng is even a little bit more potent than ginger, but I don't know what happens when you mix the two. So if ginger doesn't work itself and ginseng doesn't work itself, mix the two and put some honey inside now and go and enjoy yourself.
What about bitter cola? We've heard a lot of stuff about bitter cola. I want either one of you to weigh in on that.
On bitter cola, I'm going to hold off on a lot of those things, not because they don't work, because I think I mentioned on the conversation thread that our grandparents, our parents, they used a lot of stuff that we don't know about, and they usually don't want to discuss it, but they did use stuff that worked for them. The thing is that because we Africans have not committed to doing research on our stuff, we cannot speak much about it.
Yes, you're right. You're very right about that.
So we have a lot of knowledge out there, but it has not been harnessed. That's what I'm going to say.
Yes, it's not being shared.
It's not been handed down. It has not been shared with us appropriately. But I'll share something with you that I know for a fact. From Zambia, we have a tree. I can't remember the name of the tree. There's a tree where they use the bark for the men to enhance their manhood. Now this folklore, I'm not sure how true it is. I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but I've heard it among men, when men speak, and you eavesdrop on your brother's conversations or your uncle's conversations, and you hear some of these stories, how they circulate, because some of them will say, oh yeah, I tried it, yeah, I know, so and so did it. So, but anyway, let's go back to the topic. I hear that there's a tree. I'm not sure if it's only in Zambia or whether it's the whole southern part of Africa, or if it's the whole Africa. For these men who are small in stature down there, I heard that when you go to that tree, you take that bark, you cut a certain size of the bark that you want your manhood to be. Then you take the same tree, what you call, not sisal, what you call the string that comes off of the tree. What's that called again?
The juice?
No, the bark already has juice. But sometimes when you tether a tree, you can pull off things that look like string from the tree.
Yes, ma'am. I know what you're talking about, but I can't get the name.
Right. So they say you put your manhood inside that tree bark, whatever size you have cut yourself, and then you take that rope, or also from the same tree, and you tie it around your manhood, and you have to monitor it. As soon as it gets to the size that you want it to be, you take it off. If you forget it, it will become Long John Silver.
Oh my God.
So now what I have heard again is the downside to that was when you make it longer than God gave it to you, sometimes it causes some erectile dysfunction where it needs assistance to be, woken up, so to speak. But it does grow in length and it does grow in size. Now, they always say the bigger the better. I don't think so. That little thing, no matter how small it is, if you know how to use it, the woman will be satisfied. But when it comes to erectile dysfunction, the smaller it is, the harder it is to resuscitate or to revive. Because look at the size of our hands, right? Look at your hands. Now, if it doesn't fit within your hand up to this size of my thumb like that, and you're trying to resuscitate it, what happens? It keeps slipping, and it keeps getting, like a deflated tire.
This is deep.
It's true.
But it's important. No, I'm learning,
So the women also, you are too mouthy. You need to stop with your mouths, you women. You understand? When you start putting a man down and you start telling him, oh, you can't function anymore, blah, 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 you start being so mouthy and you're all over the village and everybody wants to know that your husband is non-functional. That's not fair. That kills a man's ego and it makes matters worse for him. The doctor rightly said it is also, for the men, it's mental. When a man's mental capacity is not in order, no matter how much you do, it is not going to work. So those sweet, sweet, sweet words that we women know how to use the right way. When you want to entice that man to mount you like a horse, you know what to say, you know what to do. Come on, women, we can help these men out. It's not
I think Dr. Tazo was trying to chime in.
Oh, Doctor, come in.
I was going to say something about that, because you're right. And I always tell people it's really important. But this is the reason why we, as human beings, we have to be careful. I always say that power changes hands. Just make sure that whether you like it or not, power will eventually change hands. Make sure that when it changes hands, you're in a good place.
Yes.
So in our cultures, a lot of times the men have power. And a lot of times, not all the times, a lot of times in our culture, they abuse their power.
Yes, they do.
And so when you start losing your power, and that's part of the place where they have power, when you start losing it, guess what? That woman could now use it against you because this is the one time when she can beat you down just with her mouth. And there's nothing you can do about it because it's true. And you cannot go out and say, I'm going to go out and do something because there's nothing to be done out there. And so we really have to think about these things. And I'm saying it because I've taken care of people through the spectrum of life, younger to the older people. And what I find with a lot of older people is that people that were nice to their spouses when they were young, you see them, they take good care of them when they're older. They're kind to each other. If you're not nice to these people when you have a problem or you're older or you get sick, they may help you out, but they are doing it from a mean place. And if you cross them, they are ready to strike back, either verbally or emotionally. So I was just putting that out there because I don't want it to be a one-sided thing. It is not just the woman's duty to be nice. The man, be nice to your wife. If you're nice to your wife, when you're in trouble, she is going to make sure that you're okay.
You're right. I was actually coming to that. You're very right to have finished my sentence for me, because like you're saying, a lot of times men, like you said, are very abusive of us women. Not all, and please don't quote me as saying all. Some.
Yes, and I agree with that. That's why I also said before, not all, some.
Yes, some. Some men are very abusive of us women. Now, it's very funny how God created human beings, both male and female. Let me just take us back a little bit to the old times. When we are growing up, the men have a higher libido than the women do. Yes. At age 13, they are able to father a child. Little girls now are getting their periods as young as 8 and 9. When we were growing up, my sisters, correct me if I'm wrong, we were 12, 15, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Now, they 8 and 9, they already have the hairs down there. They have hairs under armpit. They're already having that sweat that smells like an adult and all that stuff. I'm not sure about discharge yet, but I know that I've seen this, with my own eyes. So when the men start so young, at 50, let's say 13, 15 years old, guess what happens? The body is working 24/7. Because now they want to show that they're men. They want to put another notch on their belt. Oh, yeah, I slept with Sylvia. Oh, yeah, I slept with Mary. Oh, yeah, I slept with Jen. Yeah. Then the friends are clapping. Yeah, he did that. But what they're not realizing as they grow older, also that thing starts to wear down. Because I guess I don't know if there's ever use of a penis, but that's just a better choice of what.
Oh, my God.
What I'm trying to say. So you find that when women grow up, at least when we reach puberty or when we start our periods, a lot of times, a lot of us are very shy because we don't understand what sex is. Men seem to know about sex quicker than women do. That's my experience. I'm not saying it's a fact, but that's just been my experience. So you find that by the time I'm maybe 17, 18, that's when now I start also understanding or knowing what sex is. And the very first time is never very pleasant. Very few of us, of course, enjoy it. By the time your hymen is broken and the man penetrates you and all that, oh, I don't like it. You run away from home. You go back to mom's house. Mom, I don't want that marriage. I don't want that man. And your mom brings you right back. I say, no, you got to stay here. This is your husband. So as we are growing older, we go through menopause as women. Now, unfortunately, doctor, correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes when you have that hysterectomy or when you reach menopause, you either go left or you go right. Some of us become so overly sexually active to where you can't even be satisfied. And then others go left wing where it's like, look, you touch me and I'll shoot you. You understand? So looking at both sides of the spectrum now, as the men are growing older, like doctor says, their bellies are growing bigger. Their virility too is starting to slow down. Now they're in their 50, 55, 60. They can barely lift a finger. Now it's time for the woman to enjoy herself, right? Because all those beginning years, she wasn't enjoying too much, but the man was. Now the man comes to 55. I'm not sure when ED really starts. So let me just use the age 55. Because normally that's what
by
we call
the 40s, people start showing signs. And again, depending on risk factors, it may even start earlier, depending on risk factors.
Okay, so it's just like menopause, that it doesn't have a perfect age to say somebody starts at this age, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So I've been corrected by the learned doctors. Let's say in their 40s. So around 40, these men, some men or whatever men are that start to experience this ED. Now you marry a 30, let me say 25-year-old woman, young 25-year-old girl. You know that's her prime, right? Now she's gonna ride you like a donkey, no matter which way you take it. It doesn't matter ED or not, she wants it. You understand? And trust me, ladies, these young girls that we've given birth to today, they know more than us mothers. They know how to make. I'm telling you, they know.
I'm laughing, but it's true. They have more exposure.
Hey!
Internet, social media.
I'm telling you.
Their friends who are out there, I mean, you're right. They are seasoned.
when I go to some of these classes, when I teach these girls, right, because I prep them for marriage, you should hear the things they ask me sometimes. I'm like, what? You know that? He said, oh, yeah. I tried it, and until this is what happens, and I'm like, oh, Lord, okay, I learned something new, too. So, like you were saying, doctor, these men, you need to learn how to be kind to us women. From the get-go, I'm not saying every marriage is perfect, and I'm not saying every relationship is perfect. That's far beyond what I'm saying. All I'm saying is treat one another with love and respect so that when the tables are turned, like the doctor says, it will be my turn now to take care of you. While when you had your turn of power, you were abusive, you were nasty, called me names and brought other women into the house and slept out and called me this and called me that. Well, guess what, brothers? Your tie is deflated. So now you're at my mercy. You understand? So we need to know that as men and women, or as human beings, so to speak, we need to learn to appreciate one another and to love and, how can I say, nurture one another. Don't always make it one-sided to where, you know, you're doing everything just for yourself and you want to be abusive to the woman because you think you're the head of the household. Well, guess what, gentlemen? When Peter stops functioning, right, Susie will still want to be active. So what you going to do?
Okay, I have a question. Thank you, Sister Sylvia, for calling it as it is and saying it like it is. Dr. Tazo, there are some couples that have issues where the man always reaches orgasm faster than the woman, and the woman usually doesn't get to that place. Some people call it, I think I learned from here, some summit. You know, what kind of advice do you have for this couple? Because it's not fair that the man is always the one that gets orgasm and the woman usually doesn't get there. I want you to weigh on that. And then Sister Sylvia too.
So I'm just listening to Sister Sylvia, and I'm sure she can tell us more about that. But I mentioned something on the thread, and somebody was really worked up about it. We call it sex therapy. There are people who can actually walk you through this process, help you to find what they call the G spot and all those things. So I don't have that kind of experience. Like, I can't train somebody on that kind of stuff. But that's why we refer you out there, because the truth is that your mother or your father is not going to come and stand there and tell you what to do. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even want to. So you go to somebody who's neutral, who has experience upon experience in these matters, and they're going to tell you what to do. They actually help couples, especially when they've ruled out the cause of ED as being physical. If it's nothing physical, we know it's mental. So you now have to go through counseling. You have to go through sex therapy and also training. And that we even have courses where they will get couples to go on a retreat just to get this thing straightened out.
That is correct. Well, there's some maneuvers. I'm not going to share much on this line. Those that want to know more, they can give me a call.
Okay.
Doctor, we'll stop getting paid, okay? So,
yeah, they can send us an inbox us on Facebook and we'll forward it to you.
Thank you. So there are some maneuvers that, how can I say it without giving it away too much?
It's okay to give it away. It's for your people. This is what we're all about.
Well, not on the phone. It's pretty intense.
No, let me give them a little tidbit so that they understand the magnitude of what I'm about to tell them and what we can do for these people to make their lives, their sexual lives, better. There's some maneuvers and also what we call Chinese balls. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Chinese balls. BALLS. Okay, all right. That's for another day then. All right. There's some gadgets that we use that we train the ladies on how to stop the man from coming when he wants to come. Now, normally our grandmothers, especially our grandmothers as Africans, I'm not sure if West Africa, East Africa is the same, but I know Southern Africa, this is how we were taught. There is a way how you can make the man stop by pulling away. You yourself, like when you feel he's coming too quick, you pull out, you make him pull out. There's a way you move him. And of course, I have to demonstrate. This is why when I say I do one-on-one with my people, this is what I'm saying. See what I'm saying?
If they want to know details, let them reach out. We'll send them to you.
There you go. Yes. So there are certain ways for sure. There are men who last for 2 seconds and the woman is always left hanging. And these women are usually in a lot of trouble. And unfortunately, these women who are left hanging are the ones who are so sacred with their bodies, they will not and they will never have another man touch them. Not even when you suggest a dildo for them, will they think, they'll say, God forbid, the bad thing happened to them. So I'm saying there are ways how even the man can be trained. The men also get trained or get taught or get advice on how to hold themselves. You understand? So it's not always, some of you women are very sweet though. This man can't hold it. So what's your problem? What's your problem if he can't hold
it?
He's enjoying you too much. He's enjoying you too much now. If the enjoyment, okay, let me ask you people a question. You're eating, what's my favorite food? Ndole. I love my ndole, right? I'm eating ndole, and then somebody tells me, stop swallowing the ndole. Am I going to stop swallowing the ndole? I'm not. I'm going to continue even eat more and more and more. So even yeah, it's like even when you're going to poop, for sure. You want to go poop. Are you going to hold the poop, especially if it's a runny tummy? No, you're not. You're going to let it go. So the man, the same way, the sweetness that he feels inside his wife's vagina or the woman's vagina, you cannot blame him. Now, there are ways that he can be trained as well as a man, how to hold himself. But first, we always train the women. Because what I've noticed is once the woman is trained how to stop the man or how to stop the intercourse while it's in motion, when she feels him, you can actually literally feel the man coming because he pulsates real, the throb is like real, how can I say, felt. I don't know if that's the best word to use. And sometimes even from the way he's breathing, you'll feel him, or the way he's talking, because now they get crazy. They start speaking, hey,
oh my God, Dr. B, we need to pray for this woman. So you said the man starts speaking in tongues. Oh my God. Oh,
that comes out, or you've never heard that language, but you will even hear names and fitness you've never heard in your life because climax is there. So what I'm saying is, it's not always the man to blame. I refuse to retake that as a woman to say it's always the man to blame. Like I said, my grandmother used to say, some of you are very sweet, some of you are sweeter, and some of you are just there. So depending if you're just there, you will last for 20 years. If you're too sweet, 2 seconds. If you're too sweet, too sweet, 1 second. So you know how to train your penis as a woman, how you want it to service you. You understand?
Okay. Another question. Thank you, Sister Sylvia.
Let me just throw something in there, Reverend Pam.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I think, when we're talking about ED, we have to talk about this whole topic of sex too, because we grew up in a culture where sex is a taboo. People treat it as if it's an immoral thing. I want everybody to know God is the one who made sex. He's the one who made the body parts. So he must have had a lot of fun making this whole stuff. And he intended for people to have fun. So stop making it into a dirty thing. It's dirty when you use it outside of the way that God intended.
Yes.
But if you're using it the right way, it is basically like the best gift that God gave a man and a woman.
That's right.
So
it is the best.
So we need to, as Auntie Sylvia was just talking, I just said, you know what, there's something that they really need to do for young women. When a woman gets married, I don't want to say before, because some people may want to try it before they get married. When she gets married, they ought to have classes, churches and so on. They have to have experienced people that can train them. Because they need to start right from the beginning. People suffer for years before they figure it out. We don't have to do that. And that's why, unfortunately, if a man feels like things are not going well at home, or the woman feels like things are not going well, they may go try stuff on the outside when they could have taken care of all their business at home.
That's true.
Doctor, you're very right.
Think that we should think more and more about this. Like, this is, how they do premarital counseling? We should do immediate marriage after wedding. We need to do a counseling session, because there are a lot of people who don't know what's going on. They don't know what to do. They stumble for years before they may even figure it out. Some people never figure it out, and they don't want to talk about it because it's supposed to be a dirty conversation.
You know what, Doctor? I do that actually. In our community, in the southern part of Africa's community, they call me Vanachimbusa.
Achimbusa?
Yeah, Vanachimbusa, yes. Or
how do we get you to come up east and west and talk to our people?
Well, you just arrange for my tickets, my accommodation, you all pay me a fee, and I come and I do it. I do it a lot. I just did it for some Ugandan women was that May or April? I can't remember, some part of the years. Sometimes I even go to Texas. So what we do is, they call me Senga, in the Ugandans call me Senga, which means the same thing as Vanachimbusa, meaning a woman full of wisdom who knows most of the ins and outs of sex and marriage and all the good things that go with it. So what I do is, if somebody is getting married, I normally take out the time. One time I had 4 brides to myself. So I take out a week, or depending on how much y'all want to pay me, I take out a week and I spend a week with you. I teach you a lot. Not only do I teach you about the bedroom, but everything else that you need to know about marriage. There's some of you who don't even know how to wash yourselves. Some of you don't even know how to clean yourself properly.
Yes.
There's some of you who don't even know how to clean your homes or even how to check your husband to make sure that your husband has a nice shirt on and clean underwear. Sometimes you see the skid marks on the man's underwear, but you expect him to wear it for 2 days. You understand? You don't do that. There's certain things, certain etiquette that I teach you. I teach you how to set a table. I teach you how to serve. I teach you how to hold fork. And I mean, it's a whole class, my sister. The reason I do that is because most of our children, like we rightly said, they know too much, but yet they know nothing.
That's right.
They know too much, but yet they know nothing about our traditions and our culture and what it takes for us to maintain at least a man in your home. A lot of our husbands and our sons and sons-in-laws are going outside the house because you women are not doing what you're supposed to do. So technically, my learned doctor, if you need my services, all you got to do is, like I said, give me a call. We agree upon a price when you want me to come, where, what time, and all that stuff. I have, even for the married women, I have what I call refresher courses. A refresher course is, I'm assuming, now this is an assumption from me, I'm assuming that you married women already have been taught something, you know something, or now you just need me to come and remind you. You see what I'm saying? Remember how I said that?
Have not been. Some of them have been.
Reverend Pam, we need to get on this stuff and see how we can organize something, because I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who need to hear this conversation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You guys started arranging. I did this in Florida many, many years ago, where we had a lot of girls. No, I'm sorry. No, my fault. Ladies that were married. I invited, I think there were 50 couples, 50. We did what we called a retreat. I was so emotional that whole time because I did not realize how much a lot of our women did not know when it came to sex. All they know is missionary style and backdoor service, just 2 or 3, and that's it. And then they're wondering why their husbands are going to look for the 16-year-olds, which the 16-year-olds that hang from chandeliers, and they're able to satisfy their husband, and they're wondering why the husband keeps going back to the chandelier hanger. Yeah.
Okay, let me just acknowledge Reverend Solange, who just joined the program. Reverend Solange, you are welcome. Your video is not on, but can I just ask a quick question? Oh my God, this is amazing. I just wish we miss Nia some. But you know, I wanted to ask this question to both of you. First to Dr. Tazong and then to you, Sister Stewart. What about a woman who is afraid of sex? I'm assuming that is a form of sexual dysfunction. Dr. Tazong, you first. Yes. And then Sister Sylvia, and then I would like Reverend Solange to jump in.
So the first thing is, why is she afraid? Usually there's some history behind it.
Yes.
So we need to identify why she's afraid. Maybe the person she got married to the very first time she was manhandled, you know, or maybe something has happened to her in the past. Maybe she's a victim of sex or abuse or whatever. But there's usually
she's afraid to get pregnant.
No, but if you're married, then I'm hoping that you're not afraid that this is part of the consequence. If you don't want to get pregnant, then you should probably never have sex or go get a uterus taken out, because it's a side effect of having sex. So I think
they're afraid of catching a disease. What about afraid of catching a disease? Because there are men that
then don't even bother to I mean, that's why it's best to maintain a relationship between two people, so that hopefully whatever is in there, there's nothing more coming in, and whatever is in there has been treated, and that's the end of it. But once people start going out, you can't control what they're going to pick up on the streets. So I think that usually when they're afraid, there's something in the background that has happened, and that needs to be addressed. And again, that is where a whole lot of counseling and sex therapy comes in. So not just sex therapy, but even just regular counseling, because I suspect there's some PTSD or something along those lines going on that is frightening this person, or maybe, they may have seen something or experienced something or heard something or something of that nature, because people don't just get up and are afraid of stuff for no reason.
I wanted to say this.
Go ahead.
In the first place, if you are afraid of sex, why are you getting married? That's my first question.
Yes.
And rightfully so, the doctor has said there should be an underlying reason. Some of them have been raped, some of them have been molested, some of them have been maltreated, some of them have been burnt down there. I know of a mother who burnt her daughter's vagina down there because she thought her daughter was sleeping with her new husband. You understand? So if there's trauma, if there's trauma to the genitalia, or there's some kind of, how can I say, mishandling. Let me use the word mishandling, because some people will say, I go too far, but guess what? Well, that's just too bad. If there's trauma down there, for sure, even me as an adult at my age, I would not want anything down there because of the pain, the discomfort that I don't want to experience, or the experience that I don't want to be reminded of because it was so terrible, it was so bloody, or whatever it was. But if we give them therapy, this is what they call me Vanachimbusa. There's a way we talk to these young ladies. There's a way we school them, so to speak. There's a way we educate them to make them understand. Even caressing them, I ask for permission first from the women before I touch their bodies. Because there's certain things, even you as a woman for yourself, you can do for you that will calm me as Sylvia, because I'm so afraid of that big dick coming into my vagina. But there's certain ways that we talk to you. There's certain things that we show you, visuals. I buy dildos, I buy vaginas, and I show you how things work, because I gotta be raw. If I'm not Vanachimbusa, then yes, okay, I may hold back. But as Vanachimbusa, I gotta go deep. I gotta dive in head first and go fish and come back out. Mm-hmm. So these women here who are having these problems, it's a very, very big issue. And I have come across in my life only 2, thank God. And I'm hoping that's the last 2 I'll ever come across. But if there are others out there, I feel for them. Let them call me. Let's start talking. Let's start seeing, or let's start working together to see how we can get them back on track. Because like doctor says, sex is a beautiful thing. It's a very, very beautiful thing. You cannot even describe how 2 pieces of flesh are rubbing one another and they feel such juiciness and such deliciousness. You understand? So those women who are not enjoying it, they're missing out on a whole lot. They are missing out on a whole lot. So we need to help them. We need to figure out a way or find a way. And like doctor says, what happened? What caused this misfit? I'm calling it misfit because it should be able to fit anytime it goes there, and it should be able to be enjoyed at all costs.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to make the point.
I'm going to throw something in there too, Reverend Pam, just real quick, just one more thing, because it's not only the trauma. There's one more thing that a lot of women experience, and they suffer, and they can't really, for a long time, nobody really would address it, or they didn't have anything to they didn't know what to do with it. It's called endometriosis.
Yes.
That's where they have a lot of, errant and endometrial tissue in different parts, and it causes a lot of pain for a lot of women in that area and even other parts. So that could be a reason, and there may be absolutely no history of trauma, but that alone makes every activity traumatizing for them. So that is always something that they want to address, or people that have had surgeries in that area and they have scar tissue, it may be causing pain and it terrifies them. So that's something that needs to be addressed.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Tazan, because there are a lot of people that don't know that. Even there are a lot of OBGYNs that don't even explain to these women, especially when they have a C-section or those with fibroids. They don't take the time to explain to them that this endometriosis might cause them a pain during sex. But I just wanted to make sure that people understood that that was part of sexual dysfunction, being afraid of sex. But let's hear from Reverend Solange, who just joined us. Reverend Solange, we're talking about sexual dysfunction. Let's hear from you.
Hey, Reverend, how are you?
I'm all right. Thank you, guys.
Welcome. Hey, good to see you, baby.
Me too. Oh my God. I just logged in. First, I'll say, thank goodness my mother is not around to hear me talk about sex and social media. Okay?
That's what we were talking about.
What are you talking about?
Parents? Oh my God.
Are you kidding? About what? We know like where a lot of us come from originally. Sex is kind of, as much as God created, it's still a taboo to an extent to talk about it. Talk less of describing men's genitals or women's genital, but it's come a long way. And being a counselor of sorts, I've had to counsel couples that are suffering from sexual, I don't know if I should call it sexual dysfunction. Yeah, sexual dysfunction. And sometimes the blame game goes on. The man will be like, it's the woman. The woman is like, it's you. You come home tired. The man is like, oh, the woman. And it just goes on. But all I can say is just chipping in. There's really no quick fix to this issue when facing couples. It's okay when the couples have been married for maybe over 2 decades. Even then, it's not easy. But for newly married couples, that could be a very big challenge. And as we know, I would say biologically, the woman it's can go longer than the man.
Mm-hmm. True.
And if it's a younger woman, she may want more than the man is offering. And the man might be like, okay, I could do this and that. The woman wanting more, the man gets, because sex to me has something to do with the mind. It's also psychological to an extent. Some men would tell you, if their mind is not there, they cannot get it going. And it's true. So sometimes some men will be like, oh, my wife, it's this bickering. She bickers about everything, and that turns me off. Mm-hmm. So there's so many angles we could look at this, because I was reading through the forum all week. I'm like, I've never seen such a heated topic. I mean, people were just writing whatever. I'm telling you, to a point, some of the write-ups were so X-rated. I shrink reading some of them. Some of the write-ups were so X-rated. I'm like, uh-oh. But I think it's something that couples have to work on and not blame the other person, because sometimes it's a blame game and that does not help. So I'll leave it at that, and then let's continue with the topic.
Okay. I'm going to throw something into Reverend Pam, since Reverend Solange just rounded
up. Go ahead, please.
My mind. So I know we're talking about this age thing, and it's a real problem, you know. I know there's something we call gold digging, but I also call it gold digging is directly tied to cradle robbing, meaning that if you see a young woman wanting an older man. Yes, it is not, you know, so I don't even subscribe to the term gold digger, because my first question to the man is, what are you doing with this little person? They are like the child's age and so on. Find somebody that is age appropriate. You guys have similar kinds of problems. You're in a similar stage in life. You're going to have similar kinds of drama. When you get a younger person, you people are living in two different worlds. You're just living in the same house, but you're living in two different worlds, because they are still making progress towards where you are. You've already gone past that stage, and there's no way they can catch up with you. They can try, but it's never the same, and that's also physical. I say this because I'm not here to offend anybody, but I say it because we had a case in a place where I worked, and there was this lady, a nice lady, who always, who had generally gotten married to older men. And her current husband was an older man when she got married, but when they got married, he was maybe in his 50s and she was, or in his early 50s, late 50s, and she was in her maybe 30s. It's like a 25-year age difference. At the time, it was nice for her, because now you have a man who is settled. You don't have to worry about money. You can get the nice gifts and everything. But this is the problem. Once the man starts hitting those older decades, the 60s, the 70s, his performance starts going down. And you, this woman, you're not ready to be down that performance lane. You're still up here. And this woman used to struggle a lot. It got to the point where her husband became a topic of discussion in the office, and I felt so sorry for her, because people literally sat down and talked about her and her husband, because she was always talking about how he was not meeting her needs. And this is the other problem. Now, if you're going to get married to an older man, you better make sure you take good care of this man so he can stay young for a long time, because hopefully if he stays young and healthy, he can perform, because you're not taking care of him. He has heart disease now. He has all those things. And once you have heart disease, trust me, the rest of the stuff just becomes dysfunctional. And this is what happened to this woman. The man had heart disease. He could not take Viagra. And again, he was a very conservative kind of man. He would not use the pump, and he didn't want to try anything else. He was like, no, I don't. But he was not thinking, oh, my goodness, this is my young wife is struggling. I'm sure he's thinking to himself, it's been worth your while. You can sweat it out. But she was basically making a ruckus. Anybody that would listen to her, she would talk about how the husband was depriving her, or how things were not moving well, but she would stay with him because she wants to keep her marriage vows. But, you know, there are suggestions now that maybe she's going to end up going out there to get something. So I want these people to think about it carefully. Young women, when you get married to an older man, make sure that you're going to keep this man healthy. But also realize that he may get off the train way before you're ready to get off the train.
So that is so true. Let me chime in a minute here.
Go ahead.
Doctor, it reminds me of a story I heard. Before I say that, we have a natural, I'm going to use the word Viagra in Zambia. It's all natural. It has no side effects. It doesn't give you no heart attack. It doesn't give you no whatever the other side effects give you, right? It's like you taking eucalyptus in your tea. Does eucalyptus harm you when you take it in your tea? No, it doesn't. It just improves your health, or mint in your tea. So we do have an esteemed doctor in Zambia who came here in 2013. We had a conference and she brought about, I think, 1,000 bottles. Okay. When she came to the conference, she was just minding her own business, sitting in the lobby with everybody else with their stuff. And I was the MC because the business belonged to me. I made the conference with my business partner. So when I went out, I noticed not a single of her bottles was bought, and we had all these big buyers from the U.S., the Boscovs, the Kmart's, Walmart's, and stuff, to come and see the products that came in from Africa. The one that I saw that sold most was the honey, the raw honey. It went just like bam. In 2 seconds, she was cleared out, 300 bottles. So the lady who was selling the quote-unquote Viagra, the all-natural Viagra, asked me a question and says, what does it take for me to get a sale? Because people just pass by me, they just pick up the bottle and they put it right back without even reading. So I went in the hall, just I think 4 or 5 minutes before lunch. I said, hey, you people, there's a lady there selling all natural Viagra. So I spoke, oh my God, the way the room emptied. Hey, I'm serious. The room emptied. The poor woman was being bombarded. People were cussing her because people were buying 10, people were buying 50. She only had 1,000 now. But in less than 3-4 minutes, she was cleared out. You understand? Now, I'm sharing this because one of those people that bought that Viagra, he was, I think, was he 60 or 65 years old? And he had a wife, normal age. I can't remember what the wife's age was. And he starts dating this 16, 17-year-old kid because the wife could not handle him.
Oh, Lord.
He was just too hot or too erect, or whatever the right word is. He was too horny, and the horniness could not be curbed. Now, the good thing about this, I'm calling it Viagra. She has a name for it, but I can't remember it. It's been since 2013. I'd have to, call her. I'm probably going to call her and start marketing that product in the US very soon. But what I'm saying is, this young lady, the 16 to 18-year-old girl, was so hot that she just wasn't getting enough of this man. And guess what happened? One day, the wife left for some, I'm not going to say what state, but the wife left for some vacation to go visit somebody. And she was just called back. The day she arrived, she was called to come back because her husband had died on top of this 18-year-old.
Oh, Jesus.
And the thing could not come out. They died because he was stuck. I believe there's a name for that disease of when the man is stuck. The man is stuck in the girl, in the woman, because they had too much of whatever it was, and it was like blocked.
Is that a disease?
I'm sorry?
There's something, it's very rare, but it happens.
Oh my God. He was stuck. There was stuck.
I have heard that, but I've always, doubted it because I was like, how is this going to happen?
How is it going to happen?
I've heard it a lot. I've heard it a lot.
I unfortunately, I went there. I went and I saw for myself. I talk about what I have seen. That's why I'm saying this. And I'm verifying this because it's something I've seen with my own eyes. And when the girl died under him because of the weight. You understand? She was, I think, between 16 and 18. They couldn't give us a clear age, but that stuff there is very, very potent. It's all natural. It doesn't give you anything. He had heart disease before. When the doctors did the postmortem, they came back and they said, no, he's, I can't remember what vein, artery, whatever, was already so almost gone. Yes, it was almost gone. It was so full of plaque. I think that's the word.
He had no business taking that natural.
Yeah, he didn't ask. He didn't consult with his doctor to know how good his health was. But my thing on this is, all our men, there's nothing wrong with taking enhancements. There's nothing wrong with taking something to help you, swing the mood or enjoy yourself. But ask the doctors first before you take anything, because most of us don't even go for our medical checkups. I'm not sure why us Africans are like that.
Yeah.
Why we're afraid of doctors, only God knows. But it saves a life. So if you want to enjoy your sex to the utmost, go and get yourself checked out before you take the Viagra I'm recommending from Africa, because it won't make you feel good. But again, you could die because you don't know that you have a heart problem, or you don't know that some valves are not, spewing what they need to spew when they need to.
Go see Dr. Tazom. She will take good care of you.
Yes. Yes.
But Dr. Tazom, we have 6 minutes to the top of the hour. Do you have anything to weigh in, Reverend Solange, before we get to the top of the hour?
I
may just have to jump off the train because we got back home a little late, and I want to make sure that there's something ready for dinner. I had something on the fire, but I had
That's a good wife.
So. Okay, so we'll give you this few minutes before you jump off. Your final thoughts.
I think we've already killed it we've defined it, we've talked about the risk factors and then management. And again, as Sister Sylvia said, there's a reason why we have trained professionals. We don't know everything. We will never know everything, but we have a lot of information, and we can help you navigate some of your problems. And also, even the therapists and so on, they have a purpose, because we don't get that kind of training in medical school. There's no reason for them to give it to us. If somebody wants extra, they can go get that training. So there's a reason why we redirect you to all of these specialists, because they have extra skill sets that we don't have. So let's not become hostage to our cultures. Cultures are things that are made by people. If they make rules that are not working for people, we need to change them. And that doesn't mean you're changing who you are. It means you're redefining who you are. So let's, if you need to go get some help, don't die in silence. Get up and go get taken care of. It's worth the trouble. We're all going to leave this world, but you can define how you live and the quality of life you extract while you're here. The power is in your hands.
Okay, just before Dr. Tazong jump off the ship, you guys just heard it here. She's getting ready to go prepare a dinner for her family. For those women who don't cook for your husband, maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't take care of you. So feed them well. Food. Feed them well. Thank you so much, Dr. Tazong.
Hey, doctor, hold on before doctor jumps off. Doctor,
yes,
if the people need my services where you are, just go ahead and arrange it and let me know when they need me, and I'll be there.
Yes, ma'am. I was just planning to reach out to you. I don't know how I'm gonna get. Maybe I'll call Reverend Pam and
just send me the information. We'll make it happen.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Thank you, doctor. Have a happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yeah,
bon appetit. And God bless you.
And bon appetit.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Please don't tell Sister Sylvia you're making dollar, because she will leave the show right now.
Hey, I'm going to ask her to send it via what you call a FedEx next day air. Hey,
FedEx.
Dollar is my own.
Okay. All right. Let's hear from Reverend Solange before we get to the top of the hour.
No, I just wanted to throw a joke in, still going back to the medical aspect of that they got stuck and someone died or something like that. As a pastor, I think that's more spiritual than physical, because I've heard where whatever has happened and the man and the woman got stuck and it became a death issue or something like that. But that being said, as I say, sexual dysfunction, it's something, I'm glad we had a doctor on the line that shed more light, even though I joined in late. It's really, I would say, medical problem. It's very physical than spiritual. Physical on behalf of the woman and the man. And we also talked about the age thing. And I'm not going to say, I'm not blaming the women or gold digger. What are the men, a man of 60 or 70 doing with a 16-year-old again?
That's right.
They should be in jail.
That energy, the sex.
No, they cannot be in jail if the woman is an adult.
Yeah, she's consenting. She's a consenting adult.
It's not statutory rape,
She's a
maybe that
consenting
even
adult.
can play. Have we thought that the fact that the man, I go back to the mind thing again, because as a psychologist, have we thought that the fact that the man now is trying to impress an 18-year-old, 21-year-old could also play in his mind where he gets to a point he cannot get it out or he cannot perform, because you're looking at that person like your daughter or your granddaughter. The mind could freeze at a certain point, and when your mind freezes, you cannot perform.
Well, it goes both ways. There are women in their 70s that are dating men in their 40s. It goes
exactly. I was going there too. Yes, Reverend. I think you came in at almost at the top of the hour. You also missed something that we had mentioned earlier on regarding this the ages of these young ladies. We said our children. I want to say our children know more than we do when it comes to sex. So you find that they have these styles and these what I call bedmatics. That's my own word that I made up. Okay, they have these bedmatics that when they display in front of you, Mama, you'll be shocked. You're thinking you're living in Mars and not on Earth anymore. These girls can hang from the chandelier, up there and sexually satisfy your man.
I pray I don't have to ever even imagine it. I don't imagine it.
It's been streamed live on Facebook, you know. So, but this is the truth, Sister Sylvia and Reverend Solange. You missed quite a bit, but Sister Sylvia did not mince words, you know. So the show is being streamed live on Facebook, so you get a chance to watch it, you know. And we had to just pray that she doesn't go too deep. So those who want
no, I reserved it. I took it back.
They will have to reach out to her, but we're on the top of the hour right now. So okay. We're going to be talking about, you know, every year, most people do this. They make New Year's resolutions, and a lot of people don't keep it. So we're going to be talking about New Year's resolution in 2020. 2020, I believe, is the end of a decade. If I'm not wrong, is the end of a decade. And a lot of people will be visiting their resolutions that they've made for the past 10 years, past 20 years, past 100 years. And we want to see exactly why people don't honor their resolutions and why they don't keep it, and the type of resolutions that people make. Again, we have Ni Asong in our prayers. You know, he just lost his younger sister just about 15 minutes before airtime. So he had prepared an editorial, but he just couldn't, you know, make it or even editorial. But I'm sure, you know, after, you know, consulting with him, we'll be able to share it on our Facebook page. Again, Aniasong, we really miss you. And it's a shame that we don't have any brothers on this show. Dr. Ogoji is actually out of the country. He's a regular here, but we're hoping that there were several brothers from Congo, Togo. Everybody was weighing in on the forum, Cameroon, but maybe they didn't want to join the show tonight. But so, brothers, if we did not, you know, cater to your needs on this show, it's your fault because you're supposed to be here. So I'm going to hand over to Sister Sylvia. Your audio, we can't hear you. Sister Sylvia, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. When I'm coughing or sneezing, I don't like to disturb, so I usually mute myself. I forgot to unmute myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Like I was saying, in conclusion to the last topic that we just had before I jump into our New Year's resolution, I just want to tell all the couples out there, that there is hope and there is help out here for you guys. You just have to reach out to the right people and reach out to the right forums or the right reverends. Right now, we've got two reverends, sweet reverends on the show.
No, African Online Media Corporation will get you some help. Just inbox us on our Facebook. We'll direct you to Sister Sylvia, you know, and all our networks. So just reach out to us and we'll get you the help that you need.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be confidential.
Thank you. Yes, everything that is discussed with you is confidential. Yes, thank you for that. So now I'm going to our New Year's resolutions. You know, last weekend, Nira Song and I touched a little bit on it when we're talking about festivities. So that gave me what Hanukkah was and all these other religious beliefs that we have. And unfortunately, to my disappointment, I don't really delve into the other beliefs and stuff like that. I just stick to my Christian roots, and you know that's where it is. So he did ask me about New Year's resolutions last time, and I said, you know what? I stopped doing that about 20 years ago. Because every time I had a New Year's resolution, right, before even the 5th arrived, I'll have forgotten what my New Year's resolution was. I come and remember them the following year, and I haven't accomplished a single thing from when I was younger. I was very diligent at doing that, though. When I was younger, I lived through my New Year's resolutions, especially even the time I got married. I was married at 21, and I had a calendar on my refrigerator where I would remind myself, okay, the New Year's resolution says I should keep myself from, I'll just give you an example, from being sick. I don't want to catch malaria. From the 1st of January to the 1st of September, if I don't have malaria, then I'll ever achieve my goal. And I would check that off. I was very, very resilient and diligent on doing that. But as I grew older, I found out that whether resolutions or not, there were certain things in my life that had to get done regardless, regardless of whether it's a resolution or not. And looking at putting resolutions for myself, I looked at it as being very funny and silly for myself. Why am I subjecting myself to things that I should do naturally anyway? Because even though I write them on that piece of paper, am I going to accomplish it? No. It's a thing that should come naturally to me, that when I want to do it, I will do it. But I shouldn't feel compelled or compounded because I task myself to say, by the 24th of April, I should have lost 25 pounds. Lord have mercy. If I lose 25 pounds, I'll be a sweet 16. I'll be so gorgeous looking and delicious looking. You understand? But why can't I work towards that goal throughout the year? Why do I have to give myself up to April? Let me work on losing that 25 pounds until December, so that by December, I'm looking at sweeter than juice. So I don't do New Year's resolutions anymore because they defeat me. I don't defeat them, but they defeat me because I don't get them done at all.
Okay, so save that for next week. And the next show, we're going to be hearing from you. But excuse me, I have a question for both of you, Sister Sylvia and Sister Solange. Why is it that sexual dysfunctions and problems are also underreported in our community? Not just on the continent, but even in the diaspora. There are a lot of Africans that will not even seek help, even though they're in the Western world. And especially on the continent, they suffer in silence. Why is it?
Simple.
The veil of shame.
Taboo.
The veil of shame.
One. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sylvia.
The veil of shame is something that a lot of us women and men wear so much. And we need to remove that nonsense off of our faces.
Yep.
You know, my mother used to say, a person can never get lost if he asks the direction of a place he's going to that he has never been to before. If you don't seek help and you don't ask for help, then how do you correct what is wrong? Talking about, all right, for example, look how HIV was stigmatized about maybe, let's say, 15, 20 years ago.
In the 80s.
Yes, when we heard somebody had HIV, what did we do? We shunned that person, literally throwing them out. Ostracize them completely. Now, erectile dysfunction or sexual dysfunction, it's two different things.
Yes.
The sexual dysfunction could also come from the woman, where the woman doesn't want to be touched and stuff like that.
Erectile dysfunction is just one of the sexual dysfunction.
Yes. Right. And then erectile dysfunction is part of the sexual dysfunction. Yes. So what I was going to say is, those that are shy to talk about it, in Africa for sure, like the learned reverend said, it is taboo to discuss sex. Yeah. It is taboo to discuss sex. It's only now that we're all coming out and talking about it the way we do. So one, remember the story that doctor told us just before she came off of the phone, how this woman was disgracing her husband at her job, talking about how sexually dysfunctional he is. Now imagine if you and I, the three of us here, know that man and we see him. The first thing we'll do is when we see him, we start laughing at him. And then he's wondering, are they laughing with me or laughing at me? And there we are talking about his sexual dysfunction. Oh, his wife told us this, and his wife said that he can't even perform. And the next thing, as women, naturally, you start looking at his penis, his area where the penis is. Does that thing even exist? Does that thing even lift up? I'm serious. You know, when I was younger, I used to be crazy. When I heard somebody talk about a man like that, I would make sure I slow dance with that man.
Oh,
and believe it or not, I would even pass my hand there just to feel if that thing is really there.
Sylvia, you were a mess.
Oh, Sister Sylvia, you bad.
I was bad. Why do you think I repented and now I have to be born again?
Oh my God.
I was bad.
Thank God.
I was bad to the core. Now at least God can look at me and smile and say, hey, my daughter now is doing the right thing. But no, in all seriousness, right? When I dance with a man, right? Let's say like the way the doctor was talking about this young lady who's was coming to the office and discussing her husband's disability to function. It would really, really hype my senses. Okay, I got to check this man out. Not sleeping with him sexually, no, but I got to check him out. No matter what party there is, I will make sure I invite her with the husband. And I will dance with that husband and put my knee there, my thigh there just to feel if that thing rises to the occasion. You understand? So these people out there, there is no shame in this game. It is your life. When you die, you're not going to enjoy that sex. Enjoy it now while you're alive. When you go to the doctors and discuss it with your friends, now some of you friends are very bad for sure. Yeah. You are very, very bad where you can't talk about your friend's husband or your friend herself who is sexually dysfunctional. Or can you imagine she can't even satisfy her husband? Or can you imagine she doesn't even have an orgasm? Or can you imagine she doesn't even come? What are you doing to your sisters and brothers? You're killing them. Keep your nonsense to yourself. Stop talking about other people's lives and start correcting your own. If you're going to talk about somebody else's dysfunctional areas, talk to them in a way that it will help them, not laugh at them. Because then you put them in a larger cocoon where they cannot come out and talk to you, Reverends, or talk to the doctors, or talk to us, Vana Chimbusa.
Well, it's a good thing, and we're hoping that those who are going to be listening to this show on the continent and the diaspora, they can share the videos, because there are a lot of our people who are suffering in silence. Believe me, just like you go to the doctor with a stomach ache, with a headache, this is a disease. It's a disorder. You know, seek help. It's not your fault. It's not a taboo. That you don't have to suffer. You don't have to be in a sad marriage. You know, God created sex for husband and wife, man and woman. Let me make it plain. You know, and that's what we are talking about here. But before Sister Solange weighs in, I want to say something, and this is just being sarcastic of me. You know, wouldn't it be nice if the husbands that cheat on their wives, or all these people that are promiscuous, they end up with this sexual dysfunction or erectile dysfunction that does not get any erection if they're not with their spouses? Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be a good antidote for adultery and fornication. That the penis will refuse to erect if it's not wife. You know, just like you use your thumbprint to log into your phone or eye recognition. That woman's vagina should recognize the penis. If it's not a husband, and vice versa. If it's not the wife, it should not erect. Over to you. I just want to be sarcastic.
Oh gosh, that's so good. That is really,
oh my God, Reverend Pam. You have to pray harder. You have to pray harder for that to happen.
It can happen. It can happen.
If it happens that way, the men folks will go out on strike against God.
They cannot go out on strike. They need to stay faithful to their wives.
You know what, ladies? In the southern part of Africa, there is something like that, actually. There is something like that I heard of. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it so many times from my aunts and my cousins and the brothers and so forth, where they talk about husbands who, okay, first of all, let me talk about the husbands and let me talk about the wives first. The wives also have a way of finding a certain herb that if the husband tries to sleep with somebody, that deflation will be like a flat tire, like nobody's business. No matter how many times she touches it or what she does with it, it will not inflict. Trust me. But when he comes home, guess what? Johnny rises to the occasion. He's at attention. He's ready to perform.
Exactly.
But anytime he goes outside,
if they have a help for it, God can answer that prayer. So wives, if your husband is cheating on you, please pray that prayer. Just
in Jesus' name.
That thing not to stand except you are in the room.
Yes. Now the men also. I think this comes from Congo DRC. By the way, I'm partially from there as well. I've heard this from my ancestors, from the people that were before me, where they say that if a wife, especially a wife, I'm not sure about a girlfriend, but if a wife strays, right? There's a ceremony they perform before the straying. They make you eat certain things or do certain, I'm going to call them rituals for better choice of words.
Yeah.
The husband does that medicine on you or for you if you stray. The Reverend here was saying she's never heard of people getting stuck. Yes, they do. I'll look for the videos and I'll send them to you. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I still have them. If you as a wife stray and go and sleep with another man and they have done that medicine for you, you will get stuck and it will not come out. I have seen this
ritual.
I have seen this photo. Yes. So it happened. It's not really a ritual. They use these herbal, how you call them? These herbal medicines that they mix together. The trees that you see outside.
And they do something. I'm sure they do with some incantations as well.
Oh, I don't know about incantations. I've never witnessed the ceremony, but a gentleman that I knew many, many years ago told me about it. There was no incantations. They just took a chicken, which had all the feathers on it. They cooked it like that, and then there's some things that they put on it, some herbs they put on it. Then you're supposed to
work because they believe in it. But I keep saying that if your husband is cheating on you, pray that prayer, especially when he's sleeping or you are having sex with him. Pray that prayer and believe that it will work. You know, I don't. Okay. I'm not speaking from experience, but it will be a good thing. Some men will stop cheating and women will stop cheating.
I think put anointing oil inside. Put anointing oil inside so that when you are praying that prayer, put anointing oil inside so that the Holy Ghost fire will burn it if it went somewhere else.
Really? You ladies, that's wishful thinking. We all wish. We all wish. Right?
Oh, yes, we do.
Well, Proverbs said, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." And then I love to
yes.
So yes. Your husband.
So that thing in Congo, it works against the woman, not the man. Can the woman do something too, or is it just about? Because I always think as if women are being it's the woman that they also, if a woman cheats, this woman, but the men are the ones that cheat more than the women.
No, the men cheat with women. The men don't cheat. Well, some of them cheat with men. God forbid. I mean, unfortunately. But I'm saying that the men, it takes two to tango.
Okay.
So
my two reverends, my two esteemed reverends. The statistics of today, it's a 50-50 cheating. Women 50%, men 50%. Don't always blame the men.
And in the church and outside the church also.
More so in the churches.
Yeah, that's the one we live in.
More so in the churches, our pastors hide behind the veil of saying they are preachers and stuff like that, but they sleep with all those small girls in that church. The choir people.
Don't forget
the Reverend Fathers.
Yeah. The Reverend Fathers. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, the priests, the pastors, for a better choice.
Anyway, let's get back to sexual dysfunction, because we're going to talk about adultery on another show.
Yeah, no. Let me bring it back to there. You will find that these same pastors, right, when they sleep with the small girls, they don't have erectile dysfunction. But when they go to their wives, there's ED. What kind of nonsense be this one?
No, it just say men in general. Don't pick on just a particular profession.
No, we were talking about pastors. That's why I just had to conclude. Okay, then I stand corrected. Just men in general. Yeah. They will have no ED with an 18-year-old. But as soon as they come home to the wife, there's ED, he'll be crying, help me. But how come it is? It goes into action when you have the 18-year-old sitting in front of you.
Because they want to trade the older model for a young model.
You know the other thing, ladies, that I'm going to say, my sister just reminded me of this. You women, and I'm going to say women, I'm taking myself out of that equation because I don't do that. I do what I got to do, right? But I'm saying you women, I'm pointing to all you women out in the world. If you want to come and see me in person, to come and fight me, come and fight me. But I'm going to tell you this. You women also bring these problems on yourselves. When your husband comes home and he wants to have you, I've got a headache. I'm so tired. Okay, if you want me just ahead, then you give him the backside and you're so inactive yourself like you're a piece of log. How is he supposed to enjoy that? That's why he has ED now when you want him, because now he's tired of your nonsense. When he goes to that 18-year-old, she's forever ready to energize a bunny, whether she's got 10 jobs or 15 jobs that she's working. When sugar daddy comes home, she's ready to go. But when our husbands come to our houses, to our homes as wives, we always have a freaking excuse, and then we're complaining why our husbands never touch us when we want them to touch us. You have to be fair to these men as well as women. You understand? We have to be fair to them. When they come once in a while, yes, you can fake it until you make it. He'll never know you're faking it. You can fake and scream and make it feel like his Johnny go kill me out there. He'll be happy when he's done or when he gets off of on top of you. But when you make it look to him, it's such a chore. You also, with your nonsense, always trying to touch me and always trying to do this. Guess what? When he leaves you, he's going to come and look for Sugar Mama Sylvia. Because Sugar Mama Sylvia is forever ready. You understand? You women out there, I'm talking to you. Listen to me. I'm telling you.
Sister Sylvia, what about this woman works, she gets up in the morning, does all the chore. I think someone mentioned that on the forum. She goes to work. The man is a couch potato, flipping from channel to channel, doing nothing. The woman makes sure everything is done before she goes to bed. She hangs the laundry. She prepares the clothes for the kids the next day and all that. And then at night, this man wants her to perform as if she's just coming from the gym with blood pumping through her heart. But she's already tired.
Is this a marriage? Is this a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend?
No, husband and wife.
Husband and wife.
Husband not doing nothing, just being a couch potato. I'm telling you, I've heard so many.
She's allowing it because he might be using her money to even chase other girls.
And then the woman is one doing all the chores, and she has a 9-to-5 job. She has to come home and cook, take care of the kids and all that. The man also wants her to perform.
No. That should not, in a normal home, in a normal house, right?
But there's so many abnormal homes, Sister Sylvia. I'm sure you know that. There's so many abnormal homes.
No. When I say normal, I'm talking about when there's a husband and wife. That's what I mean by normal.
I'm talking about husband and wife home. I'm talking about husband and wife home.
Yeah, let me answer you. In this instance, Reverend Pam said the right word. She allows that.
Yes.
A woman always has control over her matrimonial home. You know that, I know that, and every woman knows that. The woman makes the house, the woman makes the household. So if you are allowing your husband to be a couch potato, he doesn't cook, he doesn't clean, sometimes he doesn't brush his teeth or wash his face, you tell him to his face, no, unless you do this and that for me, this is not going to happen. You have the right to do that. You are a helpmate. The Bible in Genesis says we are helpmates. We are not the leaders in the
head of the household.
He is supposed to be the breadwinner. If he doesn't have a job,
you give him chores. You tell him, look, I go to work every morning. I had a friend who was like that, understand? And they had this same issue that you're talking about, and it almost broke the marriage. But when you know, as reverends or as pastors or women of the cloth and stuff like that, we need to start educating our girls, not being disrespectful, no, or being honoring, but talking to the husband and say, listen, I work 4 jobs. I leave the house at 5 a.m. I come back, I have to clean, cook, your home doing nothing. I would appreciate you if you want me to be sexual with you every night like you want me. I love you, my husband, and there's nothing wrong with that. You understand? But you need to help me out because I'm very tired. Can you cook for me? Can you do the laundry before I come? And most husbands will say yes. But if you talk to him in a disrespectful way, guess what? He'll say, I married you, you're my wife, and it ends there. But there are many ways to kill a cat. Be nice to the man, be cordial, talk to him with respect, or bring some elders who can come and talk to you guys, the two of you, without you pointing fingers at him.
I need to jump in here. Okay. It all goes back to courtship. Was this man a couch potato before you guys got married? If he lost his job after you guys got married, that's a different story. But if he lost his job, he cannot sit on the couch and be flipping channels. He can help with domestic chores. He can, you know, because you cannot expect the woman to do all this, come back and clean and still perform. It's not,
but you know, nowadays,
abuse. That is abuse.
And nowadays you have, okay, so I don't want to cut. Nowadays you have families where maybe the man has 1 job, the woman has about 3 jobs because they want to maintain a certain lifestyle.
No, they know that. They want to live above their means, which is a topic we just
yes. So by so doing, because if the woman was just doing 1 job, the man 1 job, they may not be able to sustain the lifestyle that they've grown accustomed to. So the woman finds herself doing all these 3-4 jobs, you know, to meet up with whatever she's already programmed in their lives. And it gets to a point, maybe the man is like, you know what, I can only do 1 job. But the woman still wants to continue doing all 4. So I think
that's self-inflicted wounds. And I don't have to with them. They need to get off. They need to stop. They need to live within their means.
Cut your coat according to your size.
Yes, that was the topic. That was the topic.
Because I've seen a couple came to me where the woman said that if she was to leave one of her jobs, they will have to move. And she did not want to move because her children were still young and she loved the school district where the children were. And she did not want to move from their house.
She might lose her marriage.
The man was not helping.
She might lose her marriage. She might lose her marriage.
Yeah. So
it's a very tough choice. You know, they can downsize to an apartment until, you know, if they don't want to leave the school district. Yeah. The home should not define. The home should not define your happiness in life. You understand? That's just a building.
They don't even have a home. What they have is a house.
You'll be surprised. That's what I'm saying. People attach so much importance to those things, and that too leads to to sexual dysfunction at night.
Yes, vaginal dysfunction. Erectile and vaginal dysfunction.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Well, to those ladies out there, let me just give you a little piece of advice. As a mother and as a grandmother, and a chimbusa, or Sengada like the Ugandans call me, I'm going to tell you just one thing. You know, in your homes, if you respect your husbands, I know how mouthy we are as women, especially when the penis down there is not working right. I know how bad we are. Our mouths run from here to Timbuktu, from Cape Town to Cairo and back, and non-stop. And we don't even know how to apologize to the man. Guess what? You are calling, you yourself are cutting the man's ego. You're cutting your own deliciousness in your punani, in your vagina. When you use those sweet words to the husband, use sweet nothings, touch him in a way you've never touched him before. Show him from your face, be face to face with him. Show him how much you're concerned about the problem that he has and how you want to work with him. Believe me, for men, it's in the mind. Sex is in the mind.
It's in the mind. That's what I said, right?
Caress him. Let him feel wanted. Let him feel loved. Let him feel special. Let him be the king of his castle. It's not going to kill you. He's going to satisfy you and give you the thing that you want most, which is, him being inside you. But if you're mouthy like me and run your mouth 24/7, always cussing him out, guess what? You're going to be sexually starved. And once you're sexually starved, you're very frustrated. From frustrated, you take it to work. From work, you get frustrated, they fire you, you're behind. You understand? So, ladies, be nice. Like they say, there's many ways to kill a cat, right? So once that cat comes home, finesse that cat. Take good care of it. And vice versa, the men too. When you have a wife who doesn't really enjoy sex with you because of some underlying medical problem or issues or whatever she has, some of them have genital warts, some of them have whatever the other disease that the doctor says, I can't remember that big word, okay, it's above my pay grade. But also, yes, you men know how to finesse your wives, know how to caress your wives, know how to touch her in the right places, so that by the time you are inside, she doesn't even know that it's hurting. She's just going to be feeling that joy, that sweetness. Because all over here you're in place, you're doing things that she loves, you're touching her where she wants to be touched. Before you know it, you're going to have a successful erection, a beautiful vaginal back function, not a dysfunction, but it will be functioning back the right way. And before you know it, your wife will be demanding of you that she wants you every night or every day. So love one another, be cordial, be courteous, be loving, touch one another, learn to be touchy with yourselves when you're in your home. That is your right as a married couple. That is your right as a woman. Those bedmatics that you do on that bed, don't be getting upset when your wife comes with a new style or the husband comes with a new style. There's media. Don't always assume they went to sleep outside or they went to have sex with somebody else. Sometimes people call me on the phone and I'll give you a description of a sexual bedmatic style that you can use. And when you come home, you want to abuse your wife and say she slept out. Stop it. Enjoy one another. Life is too short. Sex was meant to be enjoyed between man and woman. God created for that, to procreate.
Between husband and wife.
Yes, let's respect it as husband and wife. Let's respect it as a sanctity in our marital homes.
Okay,
let me chip something in, Sister Sylvia. I've had couples come to me whereby the husband forces the wife to watch pornographic movie before they have sex. And I think that's abuse. That's me.
It is.
Yes.
Forcing the wife does not enjoy watching them?
Yeah, she does not enjoy watching them, but he wants her to watch pornographic movie each time because he wants her to perform whatever is on that video.
No. That's abuse. You're absolutely
exactly
right.
So some of those things too, the man has to be sensitive to the woman, because sometimes some men will treat their wives, even though their wives, not girlfriends, like sex slaves. Like, okay, you can do it.
Yes.
That's his fantasy he's trying to get her to fulfill by watching those things, It's abuse.
It is a terrible.
It is.
Let me just say this real quick. If the wife doesn't want to watch it and she forces him, that's not even going to make her be a willing participant in whatever he's trying to do. I don't even think they can enjoy. I don't understand how somebody can enjoy having sex with somebody who is not into it.
But you know why? Because a lot of men secretly watch videos.
Yes, they do. A lot of them do.
Oh, a lot of them secretly watch it. I've had women come to me that have come and accidentally, saw their husband watching it, maybe flips through their phone or laptop. A lot of men do. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, but it's not just men that do it. There are some women that do it too.
Even women watch porno. I know quite a few women who tell me, or who've told me to my face and said, Mama, when I don't watch those porno, I don't get aroused. I only get aroused when I see somebody else being made love to on those porno movies. And I've heard men say the same thing. If it's a willing participation of both of them, there's nothing wrong with them doing that because they enjoy it together. But if somebody's being forced, absolutely, that's the total abuse of one's mental capacity, one's mind. Because in today's world, you can equate what we did in the Old Testament, what we believed in the Old Testament. You understand? Because most of these things that the Bible teaches us today, everything is like flipping. It's flippity flop.
Well, Sister Sylvia, I think we should just round up. We have less than a minute. Next week, we're going to be talking about New Year's resolution. Sister Solange, take 30 seconds, your last word. Sister Sylvia, you close us out. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching African Online. I think this is a very important topic because some marriages have gone to shreds because of sexual dysfunction. And being a taboo and a non-discussed topic, many people are not speaking up. So I hope that this program, this session is going to help a lot of people. And maybe there will be an encore on this topic. Because there are people that will hear about it later and they'll be like, oh my God, I wish I had watched it. They don't even know they can go on Facebook and watch the video. So I hope there will be an encore. I pray that people should also put prayers in their marriage, and some of these things needs prayers and deliverance.
Amen.
Sylvia.
Yeah, Africa Online would like to thank each one of you for tuning in today. I love listening to myself talk with my sisters on this topic, and for those who come online, because we're here to help you, we're here to teach one another, we're here to help one another. And on that, people have texted me and says, can you extend, hold on, Reverend. It says, can you extend the topic to next week? I will leave that up to the learned Reverend.
That's what I said.
Maybe for the first half hour or so, we may be able to accommodate it, or depending on the participation. I would encourage you, the people that have sent me these 2 text messages, please tune in next week so that we have your participation if you want us to continue with this topic. With all that said and done, Happy New Year to each and every one of you. May God bless each and every one of you. Be safe, think responsibly, and love one another. Forgive one another and leave what happened in 2019 in 2019. Let's jump into 2020 as one person. Ubuntu. God bless you all.
God bless you. Thank you.
All the way.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverends. Take care.